I do have one letter here, and it's quite a long one, so I will read it and answer the questions. And if you want to call in the middle, that would be perfectly fine. The letter reads, "Hi, Randi. Glad to have found you. I need so much help, advice, and healing. You can probably do a whole show on my situation. I was married for 23 years, and he is a malignant narcissist. Not feeling sorry for myself, but most people I know have amiable divorces. My ex would love to bring about my total destruction and wouldn't care if he destroys the kids in the process. His needs come way over mine and our 4 children. He withheld sex for years while I begged and tried to be perfect. He hurt me physically one time, and I told him to leave or I would call the police to make him leave. He wouldn't leave. I called the police, and they arrested him and put him in jail. We separated while he got counseling for domestic violence. I had a 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and newborn twins, one with Down syndrome. After he finished the counseling program, he said he was repented. We got back together. He had not changed because he is incapable of putting anyone's needs above his own. I was surprised that he never talked about how he had wronged me, but how terrible it was to be in jail with all of the lowlives. The twisted lies, manipulations are unbelievable. Only those who live with him get to see this side, and he showed most of it to me, his wife. I begged him to work on our issues, but all he wanted to know was, who had I told and what did I tell them? He never gave me the right to have any needs or share them with him. I was just supposed to take care of everything while being treated as I did not matter, was crazy, and not right in the mind. Through the entire 2-year divorce process, he would say he would take me back if I straightened up. He told the court he slept upstairs behind a locked door because he was afraid of me. Yet he left me downstairs with his 4 children every night with no thoughts to their safety. I gave plenty of notice, hoping he would change. Never happened, and then filed for divorce. Within 24 hours, he had counter-filed and said I was an unfit mother, mentally unstable, and an unsafe driver. He wanted full custody with supervised visitations for me. We have 4 children. The oldest stayed with him, and the 3 other came to live with me. Since divorce, where he tried to rob me of everything and threatened to make the children appear in court to testify over and over, he has been most nasty, uncooperative, spies, and corrupts the children. People say move forward, but this asshole continues to go out of his way to cheat, damage, and corrupt children. He told me if I left him, he would make me miserable until the day I died, and he certainly tries. Well, this is a situation, unfortunately, that I hear over and over and over again. Many of you who are listening are going through very, very similar things. The problem is that when you divorce a narcissist, they make it their life's mission to torture you and ruin your life. And the reason they do that is because the narcissist, once they take on a hostage, they believe that they own that person forever. And when there's a dissolution of the relationship or the marriage, the narcissist sees it as the hostage's fault. So he blames them for the dissolution of this relationship or so-called relationship. And he's angry, and he makes it his business to ruin that person's life. Now, one comment I have in the first paragraph where you say your husband is a malignant narcissist, I'm not so sure we can identify him as a malignant narcissist because a malignant narcissist is in a whole other category. Malignant narcissists are narcissists who ramp it up and generally really hurt people badly or kill them. So I would say that he is a pathological narcissist. that he does have NPD, but I'm not so sure based on what I've read that we can call him malignant. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So there are several questions. The first question, how do I recover from this horrible abuse and ultimate betrayal, continued harassment, and lies? Well, there's only one way to do this. This is so multifaceted and complex. And what has happened to you is that your brain has been changed through brainwashing and psychological warfare, and you cannot possibly think your way through this. The only way to do this is through deprogramming and reprogramming, support and validation, and that of a very competent counselor who has worked with people like such as yourself over and over and over again, because this is very specific. A marriage counselor cannot help you. A psychologist cannot help you. I am here. I can help you because this is my expertise. So I would advise that you contact and begin working with me. There's no way you can do this by yourself. That's the only answer I really have to that. Question 2, how do I respond to kids who think it's normal and acceptable to be disrespectful to mom and completely self-centered? Okay. If these children have changed since the divorce and have changed as a result of influence by your ex, this is what's called parental alienation syndrome. And with parental alienation syndrome, these children are suffering serious child abuse at his hands. Now, it's probably not physical. It may be, I don't know. But it is definitely emotional, and it is very serious. And this behavior is because they are being manipulated. They are also being told things about you that are untrue. And so now these children are very, very confused because they've been told that the mother that they always believed was wonderful and there for them is none of those things. And that creates a terrible conflict for them, emotionally and psychologically. And so they are torn between two parents, but the pull of the narcissistic parent is always harder. And the narcissistic parent uses below-the-belt tactics to keep that child on their side. So the only thing that you can do, and this is something that I would have to work with you because it's very, very detailed, very hard to do, and counterintuitive, but what you have to do is be the perfect mother, not react to these children, and basically not have any needs of your own, not express any needs of your own, not tell them that they're hurting you, none of those things, because their father is saying that you're selfish. So they're looking for signs that you are selfish. Anything that you say, even if you just mention him, they'll probably go off on you because they are distrusting you because of what their father said. So this is a very delicate path you have to walk here, very, very delicate. And if you get it right, you have a great chance of helping your children and saving them from this abuse. If you get it wrong, you will lose your children, and they will suffer the abuse and suffer for the rest of their lifetime. So that's why I say you must get the proper help and advice on this, because this is very, very delicate, and your intuition will not give you the right answers. So that's what I have to say about that, and I can't stress it enough. This is, this is very, very tragic. And that your children are not making these choices out of free will. They believe they are. So you have to be smarter than your children and understand what's going on behind the scenes here and what they're being put through. Their school is going to suffer. Their relationships and friendships are going to suffer. Everything is going to suffer while they're being manipulated by this man. And in order to save them from this horrendous abuse, you have got to do everything perfectly. And I mean perfectly. You cannot mess up. So I'm here to help you with that if you'd like. The third question is my kids. Chris, 19, who's the golden child, convinced I abused him, kicked out of college for campus drinking with soccer team, fired from job for using golf carts at night on golf course where he worked. The ex wanted to live with him bad. He always favored Chris and ignored the other children. Rachel is 16. She was always a scapegoat, even though had straight A's, very responsible, always getting letters from Harvard, Yale. She does not want to visit Dad, says he does not spend enough time with them, always on his phone or computer. She has not seen Dad since Christmas, so I strongly encouraged her to visit for spring break. Dad blatantly ignored her. She tried really hard to have a conversation with him, and he would not look at her. She videoed it, and X said, "This is sick, this is unhealthy." What he really meant was, you are sick, you are unhealthy. I was devastated to see my daughter begging for attention, and he would not look at her. I want to release her from visitation and stop it for the other kids due to his abuse. I'm going to try to set her up in counseling so I have it documented and hopefully can submit that to court. Deep down, she loves him as any girl wants a father. But she says she never wants to go back to visit. My attorney is drafting a petition to court for a child support issue, and I will add about the children having rights to visit or not. In Florida at 14, kids choose whether they want to go or not. We now live in Florida, but divorce is under Mississippi law. He proclaims to the world how much he loves his children and wants them. Of course, he ignores them when they're there and would stop child support if he could and see us on the street. I know you have some questions after this, but I did want to comment about your attorney. Please, please, please be sure that your attorney has worked with someone who is a parental alienator. Because if they have not, you will lose on every level in court. The family courts do not get this. They don't want to hear the word parental alienation because many people come in there using it as a way to manipulate the court when there really isn't parental alienation going on. So they don't want to hear that. What they will listen to is child abuse. And you are right to have her evaluated. You want to make sure it's a forensic psychologist or psychiatrist who will document this in ways that can be presented at court. But please know that the family courts usually will side with the narcissist because they are much more believable and manipulative, and they usually hire lawyers who are hard asses and will go to any level to see that they win. So please make sure that your attorney is someone who knows how to go up against somebody like this. If they don't, you're wasting your money and your time. Okay, Mark, 13, has Down syndrome. He is the forgotten child. His father never threw a ball with him, never helped him with school skills, never researched for his IEP meetings. He does not give a damn. Opted to drop Mark from medical coverage because he may cost too much. Mark, being the saint he is, infused and unconditional love, loves his sorry father. And Mary, who is 13, Mark's twin, is the new golden child. She's smart and successful like Rachel is, but she's at the phase of I don't care. She's super sarcastic, always since birth has been extremely argumentative. She and Rachel have rejected Dad, Now, Mary is the new golden child. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by that. She reports to Dad, questions all my motives, loyal to Dad, even though she knows who he is. Rachel said she tries very hard to please Dad, and he lavishes attention on her. Mary argues with every breath out of my mouth, is not motivated to do good things for herself, like clean her room or exercise. She's on a soccer team. She has friends at school, but does not invite others over. She is the cause of lots of stress at our home. If she doesn't want to do something, she goes and hides. I try to talk to her about divorce and recovering, but she never wants to talk. Lately, I said, Mary, you seem so unhappy, and I do not deserve to be treated like this. Do you want to live with Dad? She said, no, I picked you. I love you the most, so you get all of my anger. I don't blame you for the divorce. I picked you, and I know Dad is a douche, so you don't have to tell me every day, which I do not think I do. Okay, but she is so angry. She does not want to be hugged, touched, and argues about everything. I do not know how to help her. I want to put both girls in counseling, but not sure if it is covered in insurance, and I do not want to use their dad's insurance because I do not want him involved. I will see if I can get them in counseling and use the counselor's notes to stop visitation. Okay, so as I said before, this behavior, because she is trying to disprove what Dad has told her. And when you say that you do not deserve to be treated like this, in her mind she hears, yep, she is a selfish bitch, because that's what she's been told. So anytime you say anything about how you are feeling, you will set her off. And anytime you say anything about Dad being late, Dad not showing up, Dad not doing this, Dad not doing that, she will become angry because she thinks you're bashing him, because she's been told that that's all you do is bash him and that you are responsible for the demise of this divorce. So this is all the more reason why I say you must have expert advice on how to do this, because your child is going to go or get herself into bad situations with this attitude, and this is going to be very, very hard to reverse. So once again, that's what I have to say about that. Your Down syndrome child, Mark, very, very tragic. Not unusual that he's the forgotten child. Narcissists only want perfect children. Any child that is less than perfect, whether they have physical issues, emotional issues, any disabilities, they will be disregarded because they're not perfect and they don't make the parent look good. So they have no time for this child. Very, very, very sad. Very sad. Okay. So the children was point 3. Point 4. Then there is the betrayal of my family of origin. They did not experience all of his meanness, etc. So they are like, I see X, I will hug him. Tried to get full custody of the kids. They said they thought he was a good father. They have not supported me very much. This is the biggest betrayal of my life, and they say just move forward. What can I do with this? Everyone in any situation where someone has been victimized by a narcissist will tell them it's time to get over it and move forward. Well, that is not absolutely true. It's not true at all. As a matter of fact, it is adding insult to injury, because if you could move forward, you would move forward. You can't. You are stuck. And that, again, is because of all the manipulation, the psychological warfare, and the brainwashing that you've been under for so many years. You cannot do this by yourself. Your brain has been changed. You are likely suffering from complex PTSD. There are many, many things involved in what is called narcissistic victim syndrome, which is what you are likely suffering from. And that syndrome renders you unable to heal on your own from this disaster. You have been through a war. You need help. People on the outside do not understand this, do not recognize it. It is a very strange phenomenon. Narcissism is not something people understand, nor do they relate to it in any way, shape, or form. Now, many people out there do have narcissists in their life, but they're just unaware of it. So when they see this relationship, they see you as being somewhat at fault in this relationship. When you are taken hostage or victim by a narcissist, you have no responsibility about what happens. You are victimized, only victimized. Anything that you've done that you may not be proud of is because you've been goaded to do those things. But this is a sheer victimization issue. You will not get people to understand. Whether they be family, friends, doesn't matter who they are. Most people are not going to understand, therefore will not support you or validate you. But you must be understood and validated, which is why, going back to the beginning of the show, I explained how important it is that you get the proper help. You must have validation, and you must understand how serious of a victimization you endured. Again, this is the work that I do, and I do it with hundreds of people. So I don't see how you can find your way out of this without help, and once again, I am available to help you, and I seriously encourage you to get that help. Okay, the fifth point is I want to raise my children to make better choices in finding a spouse than I did, but they do not listen. Of course, when we were dating, I was number one, I thought, totally dedicated to me. There were a few indicators, but I was naive. How do I model finding a good-to-be spouse when I failed? Okay, so at this point on, once again, I'm going to bring up healing because you need to change the way you choose people, and you need to change the way your boundaries are set up. And when you do choose other spouses or partners or anyone to date in your life, you're going to need to know what to look for, what the red flags are, and how to avoid getting sucked back into another one of these relationships. What you want to do is get into a good relationship and model that for your children. But you won't know how to do that. And if you do, the chances of that relationship succeeding are very, very small. Because if you do not know how to set up your boundaries, you will become a doormat in that relationship, and the legacy will continue in all your relationships. This is what your children will see, and this is what your children will model. So we need to understand what it is about you that got into this relationship and stayed in this relationship. Now, in the honeymoon stage of the relationship, everyone can get wooed and sucked in. It's the people who stay for years and years and years and years that generally there's a reason why they have not seen their way to try to get out of this situation. So that's very important to be, that's something that has to be looked at. Because if this is a pattern that started in your childhood, this is something that needs to be worked on. You have to understand where the pattern began if you're going to change the pattern. Okay, number 5. I want to raise my children to that was number 5. Okay, number 6. I do pray for his salvation at the same time wishing he would drop dead. How do I recover? I think that we all relate to that. It would be so much easier if our narcissist would just drop dead. And yet, we're not unkind people. As a matter of fact, we're very kind people, which is why we got involved with these people to begin with. We're very good, very kind people. So we don't wish anyone harm. But obvious that it would be so much easier for that narcissist to not be around. And what the narcissist has done to you as a victim is, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And it is and you feel powerless against it. So you feel like your only power almost is for them to just leave the earth so that you can have some peace of mind. But when I tell you that that will not be the end, it will not be the end, because if you don't heal from this, your children will suffer for the rest of their lives, and you will suffer for the rest of your life. You will never have a good relationship. You will never be happy. You must heal these wounds. You must change the way you think. You must get yourself back to where you used to be, to your thinking, so that you can think your way clearly through this. And you can't do that alone, because there's no logic to be had in this situation. So every time you try to figure something out, you're going to get more confused and get stuck in a loop of confusion. So you'll never be able to figure this out. Number 7, I dread the thought of him at weddings, funerals, graduations. The thought of seeing him walk my daughters down the aisle is especially hard, but I try to take the one day at a time strategy. Yes, that's all you can do, is do it one day at a time, because you have so much on your plate right now. That is not even something that you should even think about at this point. I understand why you would think about it, and I think we all think about it. But you don't know what's going to happen between now and that time. He could exit your children's lives and may not even want to be there. Your children, if you do everything right, may not want him to be there. Anything could happen. He could pass. So many things can change in that time that I would not focus on that yet. Graduations is something that, is probably coming up sooner. Sit in a different place on the other side of the auditorium. Do not make eye contact with him. You do not have to sit with him or his family. You sit away from them and do not acknowledge him at all. That is for your child to do. Your child can acknowledge him. You don't have to. And I can help you with strategies to navigate these situations if and when you're ready. Okay, number 8. I am the only driver in my household. I am a kindergarten teacher, exhausted at 54 years of age. I come home every evening to soccer practices, track meets, no me time. But I will check your show and see if you're able to help me and others with similar stories. Thank God there are people like you. Please help my life be easier. I know you understand. I do understand more than you will ever know. Not only do I understand it on a personal level, I understand it on a professional level. I have so much experience with this situation, and there's no easy answers to it. And change does not occur overnight. So patience must be involved in this. At some point, there are going to be things you're going to need to let go of. We all want to protect our children, and when we know that they are being abused by a narcissist, we feel that time is of the essence, and we feel we have to do something right now. You may not be able to do something right now. So what you have to do is understand the strategies to dealing with this person, and understand the strategies to keeping your children from getting completely taken over to the narcissist side. And that is the most important thing I can tell you. But I can't possibly tell you how to do that in this show, because it will take several sessions. And you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to do it right, and you're going to do it wrong, and you're going to do some things right, and you're going to do some things wrong, and you're going to learn and keep coming back and bringing that to me until we figure out the proper strategy. But believe me when I tell you, there are strategies, and there are ways to manipulate the narcissist. But they're not necessarily easy. And when you have this entire thing, this whole picture, keeping you up at night, there's no way that you can pick it apart and figure any of this out. You must have help. Again, I'm here for you. You just go to my website, randigfine.com, and go to the Fine Life Issues Counseling page, and you can make an appointment with me either by Skype or by telephone. So this is Free Advice Friday. If you're listening in and you would like to call in, I do have a few minutes left. The number to call is 424-220-1801. Call in even if you have a comment, or even if you have a good story to tell about how you have navigated this process. We would love to hear from you. The listeners, most people don't listen live to the show, but I get thousands of people listening in the archives. So what you have to say is very important and will be heard. So I urge you to call in. We do have a few minutes. So if you have not already visited Narcissistic Abuse Survivors United on Facebook, I encourage you to do so. We are there. I'm posting as much as I possibly can. Whenever I have a show about this or a guest, that's speaking on any topic that has to do with narcissistic abuse or domestic abuse, I always post it on there so you know to listen to it. I put up quotes and I put up articles, and so there is reinforcement there, and there is a community. So you will see that there are other people going through this, and that kind of support is major. A lot of people talk to me about finding support groups and creating support groups for this, and have asked me if I do it. The reason that I do not do support groups is because the nature of this abuse is that you have learned that your validation comes externally. And so you're going about life now trying to get people to understand and listen to you and validate your experience. And while that is crucial, that has to be gotten by a professional. That has to be gotten by a one-on-one session with a therapist. That's where you get the proper validation. If you're in a support group and you're hearing everybody else's problems, all that does is give you external validation. It does not teach you how to create what's not inside. And what's not inside is this internal experience of being able to self-validate, being able to love yourself and respect yourself no matter what anybody says. That is the goal of the healing from this process. You cannot go through life being happy and needing to be validated. You must learn to do that from within. And that is one of the things that I will teach you how to do. Sitting in a support group is just more and more and more external validation. And I don't believe it's helpful. Yes, you will know that you're not alone, but I'm telling you that you're not alone. There are millions of narcissists around the world, and if you figure each one impacts 10 people, you can imagine how many victims are out there. So trust me, you are not alone. And if you seek forums online, you will find them. So that's one of the reasons why I encourage you to go to Narcissistic Abuse Survivors United and follow that, because there you will know that you have some supporters and you can ask questions and you can make comments. But I do urge you to find other forums and resources. So that's it. That's pretty much all I have to talk about today. We did not have any callers, and which is fine, because I think this was really, really important for you to hear. Like I said, this is something that many of my counseling clients are going through currently, some worse than others, but it is always horrendous, and it's always something that keeps the person up at night and just creates unbearable stress in their life. So I do get it. I do understand this, and I can help you with strategies and advice and support and validation. So please know that I am there for you if this is what you are going through. That's about all I have for you today. So if you have any comments about today's show or any other shows that I do, you can email me at loveyourlife@randigfine.com. That's loveyourlife@randigfine.com. Join me next time for more of a fine time for healing. I wish you joy and serenity always in your life. Goodbye.
We hope you enjoyed today's programming. To learn more about Randi Fine, read her articles, or to make a counseling appointment with her, please visit randigfine.com. That's randigfine.com. Or visit her on Facebook at Randi G. Fine.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, you know, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Now, you can't just call yourself an expert. You got to earn that title. And at Wingstop, we've been earning it for decades. Want the secret? Start from scratch. Make to order. Sauce by hand in one of 11 mind-melting flavors. Serve hot with scratch-made ranch. Repeat for over 20 years. That's how you become an expert. Wingstop, the wing experts.